and welcome back to the show. Folks, there is a great Jazz in the Woods show coming up. Will be Friday, September 6th at 6 p.m. at Clubhouse 7. We will be talking more about that, but first I want to welcome our guests from the Jazz Lovers Club, Carmen Pacella and Roy Kaibayashi. Ron. Ron, I was so focused on getting your last name right. Oh. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, for those who don't know, give us a quick history on the Jazz Lovers Club.
Jazz Lovers Club is about a year old in the village. We've got about 130 members, and it's actually run by two other people. I'm just the musical director on the club. My responsibility is to gather talent from within and without the village to perform at our 4 Jazz in the Woods events. We do a quarterly Jazz in the Woods event. Then we also have a monthly meeting where we will have education and jazz. So we bring different people in to talk to our members, and then basically it's a social club. Okay. And we travel to different events around town to go to all the different
And do
events.
your members have their own instruments, or are the instruments provided?
The members in the Jazz Lovers Club is for entertainment purposes only. There are some players in the club, but we don't really play for the club. So the club, their whole basis is for social events, carpooling to different venues. It's more of a jazz appreciation than performing. We hire trios to come in and different jazz trios. So we bring talent in.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And Ron, how long have you been a musician?
35, 40 years.
Quite. So it's a passion, lifestyle passion.
Absolutely.
Lifelong
Yes.
lifestyle passion.
Yes.
So as I mentioned earlier, I listened to the single Waltz for Bill.
Oh yeah,
Great composition. Loved it from beginning to end. What's it like composing a piece like that?
I composed that 30 years ago. Our trio has been together 30 years now. So that was one of the first compositions I wrote. And it's just kind of really inspiration. I need the inspiration, and the tune was written for the late great pianist Bill Evans. So after he passed, which was decades ago, I was so inspired by his artistry that it kind of created that tune. So inspiration is a big part of it.
And do you still draw on that for even your later?
Yeah, some writers are really adept at composing when they're given an assignment. And with me, it's much more, I have to be inspired to be able to compose.
Of course, yeah. So you mentioned you formed a trio 30 years ago. Do you collaborate with the trio?
Yeah, the bass player Baba Elefante writes as well. So a lot of times in a lot of the CDs we've released, we both featured my compositions as well as his. Okay. So absolutely.
So does someone say, hey, I have a great idea, and run it by the group, and then kind of form it and create it from there? Yeah. So in your upcoming event, are you going to be performing originals as well as standards, or have you outlined that?
Maybe a couple originals. We may do Waltz for Bill.
You are?
Most likely. Okay. But we'll probably do a lot of standards. So a lot of Gershwin, Cole Porter, Duke Ellington. And I think we're probably going to talk a little bit too about what we do as jazz players. Because a lot of people have a misunderstanding of what exactly is happening in jazz because it's so improvisatory. So we're going to probably talk about how we improvise and what some of the rules are, what our roles are as drummer, bass player, and pianist in the band, and then do a performance of tunes.
So how do you approach someone else's work as opposed to maybe your own?
Yeah, so the beautiful thing about jazz is we're given freedom to interpret the melodies of these tunes. So we'll take a Gershwin tune, like say Summertime, which everybody knows, and we'll interpret it in a way that we feel comfortable with, that kind of is our aesthetic. And so that's why I love jazz so much, because we're given that freedom to really interpret it the way we want to without being bound by any kind of, restraints.
Do you feel
It's
like
fun.
jazz in the last maybe 25 years has really held its own in the musical space? I remember being in my early 20s, just absolutely loving jazz so much. And I remember when they used to broadcast Art Good out of Catalina Island.
Oh yeah.
I think
really.
in the 90s. And that was a Sunday show. And that was the only time I could ever listen to jazz. And I would just hang on every song. I loved it. So this is exciting for me to be able to talk to you.
Yeah.
So as a recap, why don't you tell our viewers when your event is being held, what time and where?
It will be Friday, September the 6th at Clubhouse 7, 6 p.m. And we have a GRF cash bar there. Everything else is bring your own food or whatever else you want to drink. It's a short time. It's not we don't run too late, so it's like 6 to 8 p.m. We try to get it in the village. Everyone likes to go home early, so but we try and move it up and start a little bit early.
Okay.
So anyhow, it's a Clubhouse 7. It's a great little venue. It's first come, first served seating, and so show up early.
Now, is it going to be row seating, or how does that work?
No, we have round tables.
Oh, round
We have
tables,
round tables,
okay.
and people can bring their snacks and their foods or whatever, and we have a cash bar right outside the door there, so
Okay.
they can get their cocktails, and it's a lot of fun. We've been doing it
Sounds
now. This will be our first year where we have four events.
How
So-
many guests are you anticipating, and do you need them to RSVP?
RSVPs are always great, but we normally have about 120 people at these events.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes a little bit more, but that's about it.
And if folks really wanted to get involved and join the club, how do they go about doing that?
Laguna Woods Jazz Lovers Club is that's our website, and you can join.
Is there any requirement to join?
No, you just pay the fee to join, and
Okay.
I mean, it's basic
Not
for the
necessarily a
village.
musical background, though, right?
No. This is everyday people, just people that enjoy music.
Okay.
And they want to be entertained, and that's what we do. So it's a nice club. I can tell you the people in it are all great, and they're and it's all different types of jazz, which is really kind of cool. Which is why we do the instructional events, because as you know, everyone has a different interpretation of what jazz is, or a different idea. So you have big band, and you have swing bands, and you have Dixieland bands, and we have all these different progressive, modern, fusion, all different types of jazz.
Right.
So every one out of these 125 people are going to be in different categories. But the crossover is great, because people say, "Oh, I never thought of that musician that way, but now I understand what he's doing, or what she's doing." But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and everybody has a great time.
Sounds like a blast.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is we're excited, because Ron's been in the area for so long, with a great reputation. You played at the White House.
At the White House.
Yeah. What was your?
Well, actually, but when President Clinton came here,
Oh,
played for him.
Oh, you played for
Yeah.
Clinton. Okay,
Okay.
great.
Well, that's close
But,
enough.
I mean, come on, that's great.
That's a
It doesn't
wonderful
get any better-
accomplishment.
Doesn't get any better than that, right? Like 30 years ago, I think I met you.
Really?
Yeah, at Steamers in
okay,
in
right,
Fullerton.
right, the famous jazz club in
Yeah,
Fullerton.
famous jazz club in Fullerton, and he's been around for a while, but I mean, really rock solid trio.
That's wonderful. Well, you've got one more follower.
Ah.
Gentlemen, thank you for being here. From
Thank
the Jazz
you.
Lovers Club, Carmen and Ron, thank you for joining us. You're watching This Day. We'll be right back after these messages.